Tonight in Philly, one of the best days on the sports calendar, and we can't kick off the celebration of the season without senior NFL insider Adam Schefter. And Schefty, both the Eagles and Cowboys have injury concerns heading into this Week 1 game, this big divisional game. What's the latest on that front as we count down the kickoff?
Well, Phil, happy season to you. This is the first of 272 regular season games, and the injury report, as you might expect, is basically clear. The Eagles have ruled out their backup quarterback, Tanner McKee. He will not play tonight. It's the reason the Eagles traded for Sam Howell. But here is a look at the other players who are all off the injury report and cleared to go tonight. That means Trayvon Diggs will be out there. We don't know how much he'll play and how healthy he is, but he'll be out there. Tyler Guyton will be out there. Jalen Carter will be out there. Landon Dickerson, despite knee surgery last month, will be out there, as will the rookie safety. And so there are a lot of reasons to be excited about tonight. The Eagles will be defending their Super Bowl title. Brian Schottenheimer will be making his head coaching debut for Dallas on the Micah Parsons-less Cowboys, and the first of 272 games kicks off tonight.
You mentioned the name, the former Cowboy Micah Parsons. We got a first look at him in green and gold, Schefty. We also got a first look at him on a Packers injury report Wednesday. Sunday, Green Bay hosts Detroit. That is a huge divisional game. What is Parsons' status for Week 1?
He was listed as limited at practice yesterday, but it is hard to imagine that Micah Parsons will not be out there on Sunday to make his debut in a Packers uniform. You see him wearing number 1. He's the first Packer in 100 years since Curly Lambeau to wear number 1. Now, again, this is a real back injury. He's got a strained back, and he's obviously going to have to take an epidural on Sunday to get through the pain, but it's hard to imagine that the Green Bay Packers would trade 2 first-round draft picks along with Kenny Clark, and that Micah Parsons would sign a $188 million contract, and they would be playing their division rival Detroit Lions, and Micah Parsons would say, my back is a little too sore to sit out. I think the expectation is he's going to be out there. We'll see how much he's able to play. My guess is it's more than less, but Micah Parsons, I think, will wind up making his debut for the Packers on Sunday in a highly anticipated game between NFC North rivals.
Yeah, not just a highly anticipated game Sunday against the Lions. The Packers have to turn around and host the Commanders 4 days after that, Thursday, to kick off Week 2. But, Adam, that's a next week problem. Today we're celebrating. Thanks for waking up with us.
Thank you, Phil.
Maybe the best looking matchup on the Week 1 marquee, guys, features the 2 most recent MVP winners. Josh Allen and the Bills hosting Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on Sunday night. The 2 teams met in the playoffs last year with Allen's Bills prevailing 27-25 in the divisional round. Lamar, though, is ready for the rematch.
Lamar, how many times have you gone back and watched the Buffalo game?
I can't count. Just watching film a lot, but just me going back to see like a loss, I don't know.
When you look at the film, what do you see?
I see we could have did better. That's it.
Quarterbacks, men of few words these days. Bills are a 1.5-point favorite at home against Lamar and the Ravens in Week 1. That may not surprise you. What may, though, is Lamar loves being a dog. In his career, he is 10-5 straight up when catching points. Good for the best outright record for.
And so I fully expect that this is going to be a competitive team. The only thing that I would caution everybody with before we just hand them the trophy for this season is that we've only had one team since 2004 win back-to-back championships, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. So you had one team over the last 2 decades of football win back-to-back championships. It's hard to eat when you're full. And how you respond to success is always a challenge for the coach. It's always a challenge for the leadership in the locker room. It's always a challenge within the organization. And so while on its face, the Eagles have all the requisite pieces that it takes to contend at a championship level, the question is whether or not they're going to have that same hunger, that same motivation, that same chip that we saw them with in the postseason when they demolished everybody, including Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Well, as somebody who is sitting on the set, who's been there, who's actually won a championship, who's tried to eat when he's full, what do you make of the Eagles' approach this offseason, this preseason, and heading up to this game? Basically saying they're unimpressed with their success. Jalen Hurts not wearing the ring. That's in the past. Nick Sirianni saying he doesn't even know it was banner night. They've clearly put it in the rear view. Do you think that's the right approach?
Yeah, I mean, that's the right approach. we'll see whether or not they can execute. All of that stuff coming out of Philly, that sounds good, Evan. It sounds good. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to say. But you got to go out there and play the games. And we're going to find out tonight against the Dallas Cowboys team that I suspect is going to be a little bit feistier than people give them credit for. I mean, people want to be dismissive of the Cowboys because they got rid of their best player in Micah Parsons. I will just caution everybody. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be a live dog in tonight's game. The Dallas Cowboys, with Dak Prescott as their quarterback, are 4-1 against the Eagles in the Nick Sirianni era of Philadelphia football. I'm not going to write off the Dallas Cowboys and say they have no chance at being able to compete and no chance at being able to do the impossible tonight down at the Lane.
So how do they do it? How do the Cowboys pull off the upset then?
Well, first of all, they got to stop the run. If they don't do it now, when is it ever going to happen? Like, one of the big pieces that they got back in return for the Micah Parsons trade was Kenny Clark, who is one of the best run stuffers in the NFL. You pair him with Osa Odigizua, couple that with the fact that the Eagles have a banged-up guard, Landon Dickerson, and they've got a guy stepping in Tyler Steen, who was a backup last year because Mekhi Becton left in free agency. The interior of the Dallas Cowboys defense has to come to the party and be able to stop the run. And then the offense has to play complementary football. That means help the defense make the Eagles' offense one-dimensional by virtue of the score. That means Dak Prescott and those two wide receivers lighten it up in the passing game. And Dak has been able to do that. I mean, against his Nick Sirianni coached Eagles team, he's had 16 touchdowns to 1 interception, averages 305 passing yards a game, and his team averages 37 points a game. Now, he didn't play in any of the games last year because he was hurt. But, I mean, that is his record against Nick Sirianni coached teams. So if it's ever going to happen for the Cowboys, that's the pathway for them to do it. Kenny Clark making his presence known early, the Dallas Cowboys slowing down a little bit of the Eagles' run game, and then, of course, hitting some explosives in the passing game, taking advantage of those young Eagles corners. We love Quinyon Mitchell, bank full of respect for him, but he's still a young guy in this league, second-year pro, and Keely Ringo, who's the guy that's going to get first crack at replacing Darius Slay, he seems like he's the guy that a lot of teams are going to go after in the passing game. So listen, Quinyon Mitchell can't cover both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens at the same time. So it's a situation where you've got to hit some big shots down the field if you're Dak Prescott. If they can do that, if they can get some early success in the passing game, get some momentum, I do think there's a path to the Cowboys making this game more competitive than that 8.5-point line.
Most talked about team in American sports would be
Dallas Cowboys, yeah.
Most important position in all of American sports.
Quarterback.
I would argue, and I've been arguing, that Dak Prescott has actually been under-discussed for the last 6 months, maybe even more, relative to how good he has been in his career. One of the formulas for Brian Schottenheimer and his offense in a brand new